won't do it. So what's happened is the manufacturers of the fixtures have realized, hey, look, we're only going to put so many gallons per minute through there. How can we make people get the realization that they still get in the shower? They're using aerators. And so on all the faucets and all the shower heads now, they have little special aerators that go on them. You'd never have any idea that these are low flow shower heads. Again, appliances. One of the things, this is our drip irrigation system on the model house. We use drip irrigation directly to the plant. So it's the way to go. We're not using any kind of bubblers, anything that there is. On our grass, what we're doing is there's a system you can buy. It's underground, so it's basically soil mounted. And what happens is, years ago they used to be in golf courses. Well, now they've got them so that you can get a clock plus one of the sensors for about 125 bucks. And so the sensor goes under the dirt and it will tell the clock when to send it water. It will tell it, you know. And so what we've done is we've designed so that all of our planters are on different valves than they are from the grass. Because the planters, sometimes we can just shut them off. When we build houses, we want to pick plants that, you know what, we're only going to be watering them for 12, maybe 15 months, and then we're never going to water them again. Basically, they're drought tolerant and drought resistant plants. Across the hill country, we've got beautiful plants that are available here to us that we can use without going into getting exotic plants and, you know, that are just going to suck down water. And these are the things that we need to start thinking about. We don't need to start building houses that are 100% turf. We built a house for a guy who had 2 acres. And he wanted sod over that whole thing. After his 90,000 gallons, he had a problem with his well. The thing was pumping 90,000 gallons a month. He couldn't get enough water in his house. He changed his mind. But anyway, people learn from experiences. One of the things that we're doing with our houses is we're using air quality, like we were talking about earlier, with the mold. Yes, sir.
A quick question on the water collection. What kind of metal roofing do you use? Type of metal?
We just use, basically, it's Galvalume. We're using 24 gauge Galvalume.
Galvalume?
Yeah.
Do you ever put any up that are painted, so they're colored?
Yeah, we do have some colors, and we have someone who, the Texas Rain Catchment, and that's one of those things that, if you guys want to write that down, Texas Rain Catchment Association.com. They have a lot of stuff. In fact, we've had someone who's been doing right now a test on like 26 different roofs throughout Texas, painted, and so that report's going to be coming out to the in March when we have the annual convention up in Kerrville. Really a good opportunity to go up and see if you like rainwater and people that are there.
Website again?
It's trca.org. I think it's .com. Is it .org?
Google it.
I knew that. John Kite's going to beat me. But anyway, inside joke. Anyway, what we're doing with our houses is that we're really concerned about the inside air quality. So not only are we changing the air on the inside of our houses, but when we build the houses, we're painting with only paint that has no VOCs in it. Everybody familiar with a VOC paint and what it is? It's volatile organic compounds is what it is. And basically it can be, believe it or not, there's dirt and there's lead that's still being put into paints. And so that's basically taking it out of it. The best way to describe it for me is personal reaction to it. We've been able to, if I went into a house and we just sprayed a house and the guy had sprayed it yesterday, anybody walked into a brand new house and they painted the day before, you can smell it. You go into these houses and they sprayed, you can't tell 2 hours later. It's just an odor that doesn't exist with these things. The other thing that we've had to do is we've had to basically start our own cabinet shop, because we're building all of our cabinets with no urea formaldehyde. And most cabinet shops will not even do that. When you start to deal with LEED and some of these home building association and programs, they're concerned about what are you building your cabinets with. Right now on the market, Chinese plywood is the plywood that's available at the best smoking price. The problem is smoking is probably the best way to describe it. The stuff, I mean, you can smell it. It's just unbelievable the way that they put it together, and people need to be concerned with that. So there's all kinds of off-gassing that ends up in the house at a later date. We're also using dyed floors. This is picture of the inside of the house. So what we're trying to do is build a sustainable house with good air quality that's good for the people, but still give them the amenities that they're expecting. People still want that. If they think they got to move into an earth ship, the percentage of people who are going to do that, they're not going to do that. They're going to have to resell it. 2 years ago I was here and there was a guy who came up to me and he said, "Hey, you ever heard about hay baled houses?" I said, "Yeah, I know some guys who build them." He goes, "Man, I have one." He said, "It's outside Waco. I love that thing." He goes, "But I've been trying to sell it for 3 years." Okay? It's just one of those things. It's a great idea unless you plan on dying in that thing. You know, yes, sir.
What about any complaints about surface cracks or concrete floors?
We do all our own concrete, so we better not have too many of them. We are starting to have some of them with the dry, but really very little. What we'll do is not only do we steel it, but then we mesh on top of it. So we have our normal steel that the concrete guy comes in, and then we run steel mesh over the top of it to even tighten it up even more. Again, it's another one of those things that cost me maybe at that time $1,500 more to do. We'd rather do that than have somebody call up and say, "Hey, you know my living room? Man, it looks like the Grand Canyon." So,
What kind of mast? 4x4?
6x6, rolled 6x6, and then I tie it directly to the rebars. And so they've been doing that for years in tile areas and certain parts of the house where you've had exposed. But when you're starting to do complete houses like this, you know, it's just easier to go ahead and put it down.
Have you looked at fibers as well for the smaller cracks?
I'm sorry?
Have you looked at fiber mix-ins? for the smaller
Fiber
cracks?
mesh?
Fiber mix-in.
Bags that you pour into the fiber.
Fiber, concrete.
Fiberglass.
Fiber dispersed in concrete.
In the cement?
Well, in concrete, yes.
Okay, in concrete. Are you an engineer? I have a buddy.
No, sir, that I work with.
I have a buddy who gives me a hard time about the exact same thing. You know, in the cement, no, it's concrete. You don't pour it, you place it. Okay. Yeah, I have done a lot of fiber mesh. Is basically what it is. Where we put the fiber mesh, it's mixed into. Those that are unfamiliar with it, there's bags of fiber. It's mixed in with the concrete, so when you come out, it looks like your concrete has a beard. Basically, especially on a sidewalk. We haven't used them on the inside. We do use a lot of them on driveways, sidewalks, exteriors, because what happens is that people, if we're dyeing the floor or whatever, they really don't want the fur sticking up, and it does wear down after time, but as a general rule, it's a little hairy. Yes, sir?
Do you use fly ash by any chance?
Yeah, we do use fly ash. Fly ash is another one of those point things. For years, we didn't like fly ash because of basically they were taking cement out and putting fly ash in. And so now it's, you got to get the right cement company, to be honest with you. You really do. It's just, because otherwise they'll love to stick that fly ash in because it's cheap and cement isn't so cheap. So.
You also need to watch the type of fly ash. There are different classifications, and some are more useful than others. Yeah.
Well, I'm down to my energy recovery. Let me think. I don't think I have anything else. Back to the top. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
First of all, are you grid tied at all? And second, about how much do you spend on that PV array with the inverters and all the systems combined?
We are grid tied. Years ago, we've done a bunch of stuff that was off the grid, or where they had batteries and stuff, and we found that people really don't want that. What they want is they want the PV system, and they don't want to touch it. You know, they don't care when that, which way the power is going. They just want to know that, you know what, when I can make power, I want to walk outside and see that meter spin backwards, but I don't want to lose any of the comforts that I have with my house. Yes, sir.
I noticed you didn't have any solar water. Is there a reason for that?
Again, cost is what we're trying to do. We've looked into solar water heaters, and the cheapest one that we could find was basically about $6,000. For us, $6,000, if we've only spent $1,000, again, we're trying to build the whole house and what we're trying to accomplish and reduce it. We believe, and what we've been able to do is build houses at a price increase from a standard house of 10 to 12%, building a fully sustainable house. And that's one of those solar water heaters. I still got to buy the water heater. You still got to do it. It's return on investment. And at this point, we don't.
I'm going to get about a 9-year payback.
Okay. We have some people who, and again, it's the homeowner's choice of how much they want to do with some of their sidewalks and stuff. There is some cements that are out there or sidewalk material that work that way. Right now, our main concentration has been the houses. We want to be able to have people have a 3,700 square foot house and have a total utility cost of $50. Anyway, my 5 minutes is up. I'll be around if you guys have any questions. I'll be more than happy to talk.